So, there we go. 509. Alrighty. Hey, what's up, fam? What's going on? All right, we're heading on down to the Philadelphia Senior Center, 509 South Broad. Actually, have a day with these sassy seniors. Hey, man, you the youth boy, right? That's what's up.
Like you said, if I'm breathing, I got a shot.
Breathing, you got a shot.
What's up?
How you doing?
I listen to you on the Saturday morning.
Yes.
I'm a flying with Diane class.
Yes, I see your comment up there. How you doing, Diane? Pleasure to get education on saying that this is why you need to do it.
Okay.
I tell a lot of the senior people, they're saying, well, Doc, I've never done anything different than I keep the same model. I do the same thing I did for 20, 30, 40 years.
And don't let them be like 80.
Yeah,
You can't tell them nothing.
I know, you know. Then I say, well, hey, it's not you. It's not you that changed. It's the food changed on you.
Well, I like that. Yeah. Because they think it's the same thing that they grew up with. They say, I've been eating like this since I was young, but like you said, you ain't been eating this.
You ain't been eating this. This whole thing has changed where it's not, you know,
Not food.
it's not meat no more. This is a different type of meat. All right. That was good. That was enlightening. Yes, man. That's what it's all about, y'all. You know, the connection with people, man, being real. You know, it just shows you about the situation that people were coming up with, you know, saying about the food, you know, so we just got to change what we eating, y'all. We got to get the right stuff. Only life begets life. Holla.
My father grew up in North Philly with dreams of becoming a baseball star. But all that came to a screeching halt when he was recruited at the age of 14 at SmithKline Beckman Pharmaceutical Corporation. He would spend about 9 years in total in the pharmaceutical industry, but he found himself frustrated, as chronic disease still plagued his community. So this led him down a spiritual quest for higher knowledge through naturopathy, thus transforming him into the man he is today.
We are those that go with nature's path, nature's way. That's where the natural path name comes from. It's nature's path means we go in the direction of feeding the body, and the body corrects itself 11 times faster than you get sick.
What does an average assessment look like? If somebody comes in, you know, schedules an appointment with you and an assessment, what does that look like?
We always start with a baseline, and the baseline is measurement tools that we look at on the naturopath side because we deal with balance. We want to see where the imbalances are. So the imbalances start with us measuring certain levels of how can we find out what the body is doing or what the body is saying. And therefore we feed the body and the body corrects itself. We don't do anything, nor do we claim to do any healing or anything other than putting the body back in balance. So we start off with what's called the 10SG. And it's a urine analysis test. So as you can see, these are hydrogen-treated strips, and they're treated for looking at about 10 different things going on with the body. So liver, pancreas, kidneys, white blood cell, proteins, and a list of other things can be found just with urine. And then also we do what's called a biometric testing called the RM3A. The RM3A is a full body analysis. It looks for what's called 8 risk factors. And these 8 risk factors are the most common things that are found in the body. That's why it's been such used as an FDA approved device. So it will look for endothelial disruptions, which is the vessels and the lining of the arteries and veins. Also autonomic dysfunction, insulin resistance, which is diabetes, palpitations with the heart. It could show arrhythmias or flutters. And then from that, we put the two tests together. We build a model, and then we say, here are the things that are missing. We feed the body, and the body corrects itself. And that's when we look for the herbs that have specific goals to go in to do certain things in the body. Today, we're going to pay homage to my mother, Barbara Yvonne Hopkins. We just want to always light a candle for them, you know, in remembrance of them. I lost her when I was about 2 years old. I have two older brothers, and they have gone on and passed too. Both of them had diabetes. So that's really what pushes me to do what I do, is the fact that, you know, I've lost so many people. I think about one of the stories that my uncle told me after my mom had passed away. All I remember is that I always would grab her leg. And I could grab her leg and I would just look up like this. And he says, here were all these people over the house. And I'm walking around not realizing that my mom had died. All I could do is any woman that looked like her, I would go up and grab her leg and just go like this. He said it was the saddest thing he ever seen. And every time he told me that, I think about that and I start to weep, so it makes me sad that I lost her at an early age, but I know that she's with me. N.D, what you looking at? You see him looking? You see him look? Look. Darren, you see him looking? Mm-hmm. What is he looking at? N.D, you see something? You know they can see the spiritual world, right? Mm-hmm. Look at him. N.D.
Because of the passing of my father's mother, he and his two brothers will primarily be raised by their grandparents, Ethel May Benton and Paul Benton, whom my father was directly named after. While working at SmithKline, his grandmother, who was diabetic at the time, would contract gangrene, and she ended up losing both legs.
I could feel nothing more devastating than my grandmother getting ill, and I could not do anything about it. I would take her to, of course, the doctors to get her checked out, but I saw what happened to her as a person. And I would always remember saying, Grandma, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to try to make you better. I didn't know how I was going to do it or what I was going to do, but I said, if I'm in the pharmaceutical industry at that time, I can help her in some way. Not knowing that it would lead into the area of holistic medicine. Stand-up bags that don't want to stand up. This is actually the phytonutrient green drink based on the highest hydrogen on the planet. The goal is to bring the body up to a balance of pH, which is potential for hydrogen. And the highest forms comes in both land and sea. So this drink right here is sort of my vanguard, and this is my, flagship. And this one has all of the land, which is like the alfalfa, the spinach, the turmeric, the beets. So all of that combined in here raises the pH, brings the body back into a balance in a state of what we call ease. All right, we just checking in. We got the son here today. He's doing my documentary.
How you doing that, son?
So he wanted to come in and document the fact that he coming into the #1 herb store in Philadelphia and probably the country.
In the USA.
In the USA. That's Brother Shakir.
All right.
Yes, he is the mastermind behind this. Been doing it how many years?
30 years.
30 years.
30 years.
30 years. So if you want to know, look at that. Look at that wall over there. See all that? Wayne Avenue Health was the first store after I designed my product line. So when I got on the radio, I sent people to where they can purchase it. We've just established a great relationship over the years, and I could say that we have really helped a lot of people just with our relationship.
I had a swelling on my face, and they said that it was a simple procedure that they could take care of. It would be 4.5 hours of surgery. They were going to have to remove my parotid gland. They were going to have to take fat from my stomach and inject it back into my face so that my face would be contoured because I could lose my ability to blink, to hear, or to swallow. Last year, was my first introduction with Dr. Paul. The swelling, the regimen that he gave me was so wonderful that everybody thinks that I had surgery, and they don't believe when I tell them I did not have surgery. I just increased my water intake and some other things that Dr. Paul told me to do. And now no more swelling, and I'm doing good.
This brother right here, hands down, has had one of the most incredible transformations that I've ever seen in anyone. He is both spirit, mind, and body in that order, right? And he is coming through so many different things that literally, you know what? That's his name, Mr. Mark Kinsey. Brother Mark Kinsey. And if you don't know, Mark, when I first met Mark diagnosed, I say diagnosed because that's what they said, he would never walk again. But this brother actually showed up one day, and he came in, and he says, Doc, I'm feeling good. It wasn't until I turned around that I realized he didn't even have his cane no more. He didn't have his walkers with him. Yes, what you got to say? What you got to say?
Thank you, Jesus.
What's up, my man?
How you doing, man?
Oh, man.
Who's this young man you got
This
back
is my
here?
son.
Barbers were your original doctors and surgeons.
Yes, absolutely.
So the barber was actually a surgeon. If you got sick or had to have your leg cut off or you had gangrene, it
That's
was
right.
the barber shop who had to put all the herbs and things together to make sure you would come out okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
when
right.
I hear this herbalist every Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning,
Yes.
I'm right here on the phone. You have done a great job with him. Now, how many kids do you have all together?
Just him. That's
Just
him.
one?
He is the miracle son.
That's beautiful.
When they told us, my wife, she had complications. They told us that we would never have a child.
Really?
Yeah, I told them no. It was devastating to my family. And I remember going to several doctors, and they were all saying the same thing. I said, no, that's a lie. I said, don't believe what they say, and we're going to stand on the word of God that it's going to happen. And he's going to show me how to give you what you need.
Go ahead,
so
brother.
that we're going to bring it forward.
That's right.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's right.
So the very one that said it would never happen, that's the one we went back to when he found out that she was pregnant and then went through it. And not only that, not a 9-month, but an 8-month baby. So he was 8 months. Genius. That's the miracle golden boy right there.
Yeah, man.
He's a golden boy. So his name is Jaron, J-A-R-O-N, just like Aaron, but with a J, Elijah Hopkins. It means to sing or cry out Jehovah is God.
Go ahead, brother.
That's his name. See this right here? That's a real phone.
Yep.
If you
Oh
wasn't,
man, if you pick that
if
up
you pick that-
and dial it, pick it up.
do you know how to dial that? You know how to dial that phone?
I don't. Yeah.
Do you see how heavy that bad boy
Yeah.
is? Now, when you make a call, you'll never forget this sound.
So you know how that works? Go ahead. So, Woody, show them how you dial a number.
No. You look. You got anybody you want to call? I'm gonna plug it in.
I'm gonna call
So
my
you can.
mom.
You're gonna call your mom. Let me.
215.
You want him to do it? You want him to do it?
It's pretty
This
Right.
is-
Let me close
Yeah,
it.
let
Okay.
him do
That's
it. Let him
You
do
dial
it.
your mother.
2,
1,
1.
5.
Is it ringing?
Yeah. Hey, mommy, I'm making a call from Mr. Woody's barbershop on an antique phone, on a real
With
telephone.
a real telephone.
Dial number and everything. This concludes a short segment in a much larger story. As my father's mission continues in places like Ghana, West Africa, Mexico, and countless other places across the world, I'm reminded that we all could use more resources for a healthier lifestyle, but even more so, we all could use a healthier mindset. I've learned that sometimes just by having faith that a healing is possible and that change is probable, you set yourself up to embrace something new that might end up changing your life forever. And like my dad always says,
I always say, be encouraged, because remember, if you're breathing,
you got a shot.